Hey guys, welcome. My name is Heather Jones. I am so excited to be here tonight. We are going to talk for the first time about first water. So a lot of you guys have been following me. Ugh, the lighting in here is so bad. Anyways, we're going to talk about first water. You guys, trauma does not just hurt your mind, it rewrites your body. Okay, and I'm going to teach you a sacred silence medicine called first water. Now, this is not new, but it might be new to a lot of you guys. And this is something that's been silenced for a very, very long time. So if you guys want to learn all about first water, it's urotherapy, how to use it, the benefits of it, and how it can actually help with trauma. So if you have ever experienced any type of sexual trauma, physical trauma, emotional trauma, religious or spiritual trauma, you guys, our body creates the blueprint, the codes to help us heal ourselves. And so tonight we're going to be talking about, I'm going to spend about an hour going over first water. So we're going to wait for a couple people to jump on. You guys, this book just launched. Okay, it's only $10. I teach you all about first water and the crimson codes. So this is very, very sacred medicine that's been silenced. This is something that's been known for years, generations. And you guys, we have been silenced, especially if you're in the States. You have been silenced and you have been programmed to fear and have disgust towards things that will actually heal your body. And so we're going to be talking about the first water tonight. So if you have ever experienced any type of physical extreme trauma, sexual trauma, okay, we are going to be talking about first water. Has anyone in here ever heard about first water? Anyone here ever heard about crimson codes? So this is using, I can't say the words because I'm not sure if TikTok will allow it, and my picture is very blurry, but super powerful, ancient medicine that we have been silenced about, okay? You guys, the truth is coming out, though. So many people are realizing that we have been lied to, and so many people are realizing that their bodies hold all the answers. You guys, your body knows exactly what to do and how to heal itself in literal seconds. And you guys, this powerful medicine, okay, this powerful medicine can heal your body. You heal your body's original blueprint. So when you experience any type of physical trauma or sexual trauma, you guys, sometimes our body takes on the trauma and it distorts our original blueprint. And not only that, imagine generational trauma being passed down, how distorted our original blueprint is. And we already know that there are people, right, who are trying to disrupt our original blueprint, right? We know the agenda. If you're not aware of the agenda, okay, I'm not sure where you have been, but there is an agenda against humankind, right? There's agenda against female bodies, against men's bodies. You guys, these traumas are being passed down generationally, and we hold the medicine. We hold the sacred water that can heal yourself. And I'm telling you, when you guys overcome the shock, right? Because we have been programmed, right, from an early age to see these things as shocking and gross, because they knew if we can program to think these things are toxic, right, they'll never remember how to heal themselves. So if you guys want to learn about first water, that is what we were talking about. So if you have ever experienced trauma, which I know most of you have because we've come to this earth to learn life lessons, but I'm talking about the severe traumas, the severe narcissistic, physical, or sexual traumas, you are going to want to stick around. So for the next 60 minutes, we are going to dive into, yay, Paris! We are going to dive into first water, okay? First water is urotherapy. If you don't know what it is, I need you to look that up, because I'm going to be very careful with the words I use, because these things are trying to be silenced, right? And the people who are sharing this information are being called, the conspiracy theorists, the wackos, when in reality there is data to back up that our bodies create literal medicine. For example, do you know that if you get bit by a poisonous snake in the jungle, within literal minutes, your body will produce an anti-venom? Within literal minutes, your body will produce an anti-venom. okay? And it is in urotherapy. And so this is your first water. Our first water is the original water. That is the water, right, that we were in the womb, right? When we were in the womb, that is first water. We're taking in our mother's fluids, our father's fluids. We're also taking in our own fluids that we're excreting back into ourselves. This is our first original language. This is a blueprint. What happens is when you become born, right, and you experience physical traumas, sometimes our body needs its original blueprint to know what's going on, to how to heal itself. Okay, hold on, we got some bots. So, how many of you guys in here are already familiar with first water? Okay? If you don't know what first water is actually, it's your urine. Okay? It is the golden elixir. And this is shocking. The first time that I heard about it, you guys, it was 15 years ago from a friend who came from the UK. Okay? And she told me about this amazing medicine that could heal your body. And when she told me what it was, I instantly was like, nope, that is not for me. That is disgusting. Why? Because I was programmed at a very young age to think that those things were toxic, right? To think that those things were gross. So how would I ever, right, see that as medicine? The truth is that there is hundreds of thousands of people, right, who have learned how to remember the medicine that we've been given. So what does this look like? How many people are excited about this? You guys, I am so excited about this. If you have ever paid thousands of dollars for stem cells, you have wasted your money, because your body in your aged elixir, in your aged first water, will produce millions of stem cells, millions of your own body's natural stem cells. Imagine if this got out to the public, that people could produce their own stem cells. What do we use stem cells for, right? Regeneration. We can use it for our skin. We can use it for our eyes. We can use it for injuries. We can use it for ear infections. We can use it for sickness. It is the original blueprint. It is our body's own vaccines, if you will. So our body knows exactly what's wrong. And when you take in your own medicine, right? Yes, that is why they are collecting our urine. Yeah. You guys, these products, right? Urea, it's in our skincare. It's in our medicine, right? They are using those things and then selling it to us for thousands of dollars. When the truth is that your body literally produces its own medicine. So if you want to know exactly all the ways, the reasons how you can use it, you guys, I do have this available. Okay, it's linked in my store. It's only $10. It will tell you exactly how to use it for your body, exactly how it's medicine, and the ancient traditions. You guys, anciently, ritualistically, the Egyptians use this, right? The Indonesian people use this. Africans use this, right? Culturally, this was natural. And people say, well, we don't see animals doing this. We actually do. Animals, right? They pee on things and they smell it. Animals get information from their own urine. We obviously don't have that sense of smell. So when we taste it, right, our bodies know what's wrong. Our bodies know exactly what's wrong and how to fix it and how to filter it. So, read about it 45 years ago. Yeah, Japanese use it all the time. You guys, other countries, right, Germany, China, this is a very natural thing, right? This is common. But why in America and why in some other countries is this considered bad? Because they know, right? I teach the truth code, right? I teach you how to tap into your intuition. They know that if we can tap into our intuition and if we knew that we had the power to heal ourselves with free medicine, it would be a game over. So anciently, people, when they were sick, or if there was a horrific accident for a child, they would take aged urine, okay, and give it to their child or take it for themselves. People have noticed huge amounts of energy. Like I use this every day, okay? I put it on my skin. The lie is that when you put it on your skin, like it smells bad, it has no smell. The only time it has smell is if it gets in cotton or fabric. But there are so many, hundreds of thousands of ways that you can use not only your first water, but your aged. Yes, Isha, this is what it is, okay? But you guys, in my book, I go a little deeper, okay? I can't say that word today. The ingenious use it for the babies. Yes. You guys, we have a creator that created our bodies to know exactly how to heal itself. We are a self-running mechanism. We have dominion over our body. Everything we need to heal ourselves is within. Literally. Jesus even said that, okay? The problem is that we have been programmed propaganda to believe that these things are gross. Shocking, right? So we will very easily take toxins into our bodies that could literally kill us, but we're afraid to take in our own body's medicine. Think about that. Think about that. You are willing to inject things or take things into your body that could literally hurt and destroy your body with hundreds of side effects. But when it comes to something that's free, right, that has no side effects, that could actually heal your body, we disregard it and say that's toxic. Yeah. Yep, you guys, that's the same thing I did. The first time that I was introduced to this 15 years ago, I even told my husband, I was like, this girl's crazy. You guys, then I had a huge awakening. I started remembering my truth, and then I came upon this again. Okay, but when I heard it again, I heard about the crimson codes. You guys, the crimson codes, okay, I have to be very careful what I say, but this happens once a month for women. You guys, our bodies produce medicine. You can mix it with things. Yeah, so in my book, there's a bunch of different things you can mix it with to make like specific concoctions, right? To put on your face, to put on your skin, to heal rashes, to help injuries. But you guys, there's even more. Okay. In scripture, right, it talks about don't take anyone's DNA. Don't take anyone's blood. Why? Because blood is alive. It is alive. It is the original blueprint. In scripture, it says, right, that when you marry a man, you come together, you become one flesh. You become one flesh. And you guys, in ancient rituals, men, right, would use the female's crimson codes to not only heal themselves, but to become one sacred flesh. You hear what I'm saying? Yes, you can. Okay? You can ingest it and you can use it on your body. They are taking our first moon, okay, our crimson codes, and they are injecting them into patients, right? They are taking this and injecting it into patients and seeing miraculous healing. Why? Is no one telling us that what we flush out once a month can heal our bodies and creates miraculous healing? So I want to go even deeper into this. Why was I called to this? Why was I called to my first water in the crimson codes? I'm going to tell you. Because I experienced sexual trauma. Yes, it has stem cells in it. Because I had experienced trauma. When you experience trauma or horrific abuse, sometimes, right, our original blueprint gets destroyed or altered. And when that happens, we have pure medicine from our bodies, okay, the crimson code, that when we take into our body, will heal our body and restore it to the original blueprint. How incredibly powerful is that for all of the hundreds of thousands of survivors who have survived trauma, okay? When we experience trauma, our blueprint, our original blueprint sometimes gets distorted and altered. And when that happens, our body has medicine to heal ourselves, to bring it back to the original blueprint. Yeah, narc abuse, any type of abuse. Yeah, Georgia, if you feel like you still need this, you guys get my little book. It's only $10. It gives you all the information you need, okay? But this is the thing. Just because I am telling you to do this, it doesn't mean that you need to, right? The crimson codes, this is not something that you do all the time. Okay, it is very, very, very sacred. It is something that you do one time to restore original blueprint, and then you can use it for topical uses, right? For your skin, for your eyes, for regenerative. But when it comes to ingesting, specifically when it comes to the crimson code, okay? Linda, what are you talking about? Not biblical. So biblically, God said, do not take in any other person's blood, right? Because that is their original blueprint. You will literally alter your body's blueprint, right? We don't do what the wicked do and take adrenochrome, right? No. So if you want to restore your original blueprint, this is okay for you and your husband and your children. Because when you get married and you guys become one flesh, right? The man takes you in wholly too. Okay? You guys, anciently they would call this the elixir of life. Right? The crimson code is for women who menstruate. Okay, that is what the crimson code is. So when your husband takes this in, right, it's called the sacred elixir. Back in the day, they were taught that this was sacred. A man had to give jewels, cows, meat, his wealth to make the woman happy. And then if he made her happy, then she would freely give her her flower. And her flower produced sacred medicine. Okay? Oh, yes. Thank you. I can't spell. Did I say scared? It's sacred. I'm glad you knew what I meant, though. So you guys, this information has been silenced. And the truth is that if you have felt the call, if you felt like there's more to your healing, this could be the key. But I want you to trust your intuition and feel what your body is telling you is true. So the first time I did first water, you guys, I'm not going to lie. So if you no longer menstruate, yes. So if you no longer menstruate, it'll just be your first morning. Yes. And so this is why anciently the women would store their crimson, right, in vials. Because if there was ever an emergency or something happened to them or their children, they would have the original blueprint to restore them. So children who were attacked or hurt or just barely hanging on because of a sickness, they would give them the original code, right, to help them. They would give their bodies back the medicine they needed. So powerful. So you guys, this is $10. It's linked in my bio if you would like the information. Okay, this is going to teach you exactly how to use it. There's 7 different types, right? There's looping. There's doing it first thing in the morning, every morning. Okay, then there's the crimson codes. Okay, I haven't even begun to go into the other fluids that we produce, right? Husband and wife, we produce these fluids together. And if you are with a spouse or you are with someone, a man, right, that is broken or has lots of trauma, when you give them, right, your original crimson code, it has been shown to cause massive healing. Massive healing, because you're becoming one flesh, right? And it's healing his energetic blueprint. You guys, in my intuitive testing system, I teach you about generational trauma. How will it benefit you? You'll notice results pretty quickly. Lots of people notice like energy, even in the first minutes, hours. There have been people on their deathbed. Okay, there have been people who were literally dying and the doctor said there's nothing we can do for them, right? Haven't eaten in days. They start their first water and within minutes, right? 30 minutes to an hour, they're able to put food down, right? And then by the end of the day, they're feeling better and they're coming back to life. I follow a doctor who's helped in the last 25 years over hundreds of thousands of patients. Why has this information been kept from us? Why are we programmed to think that our bodies produce toxic waste? Okay? Think about it. And you guys take it to prayer, right? Think about it. Why would this information be silenced from us if it has been proven that they use our first water in skincare? They use our first water in medications, okay? Why are they using our first water, first of all, if it's toxic? And then why are they using our Crimson Code, our Crimson, for regenerative healing? You guys, because our body produces its own stem cells, and we already know what stem cells do, right? Is the future of medicine. It can completely restore trauma, damage in the body. And you have access to that right now. You don't need $10,000-$20,000. You need your own medicine. First water is urotherapy, okay? The Crimson Code is your own body's menstruation. So you guys, in my book, right, which is, it's $10, it will teach you exactly how to do this for yourself. And I want you to do this with discernment, right? So I teach intuitive testing. I have a whole system that teaches you how to get a yes or a no. If you don't know how to tap into your intuition and you're like, this is just crazy information, right? I want you to learn how to test and ask. And then I want you to ask your body, does my body need first water? And for how long? Does my body need the Crimson Code? Okay? My body said, hell yes, you need it. And I will tell you that after I did it for the first time, I felt fully healed from my sexual traumas. Yes, they do. They do. So if you've long passed your Crimson Code, that's okay. You guys, this is why they silenced us for so long, right? Generationally, because people back in the day, they would store it, right? They would store it so that when they did lose that capacity to do that, they would still have their original blueprint when they needed it. Just dropped in, what if you lost your uterus? Yeah, so that's okay. So there's some things you won't be able to do, right? But that's okay. You can still do first water. And first water is so extremely powerful, right? It is so extremely powerful. So what are some of the things you can use? Do you know that you can use your aged elixir, your aged water, okay? And you can actually rub it into your scalp to grow your hair back. Miraculous hair growth. You can use it on your skin for wrinkles. You can use it for eczema. You can use it for psoriasis. Okay, you can use it for wounds. Okay, if you're using it for wounds, though, you only want to use fresh, right? But you guys, this stuff is extremely powerful. How do you collect it? So you guys, in my book, I teach you exactly how to collect it, right? And how much and how often. Yes. So you guys, it is linked in my bio. If you guys want to check it out, it's only $10. It will always only be $10. It's all the information you need on how to use your first water, right? How to use your Crimson Code, and how to use your other fluids, okay? The other fluids are very sacred fluids. There's a reason why they don't tell us these things. Because when you take in these fluids, you become one. You become one flesh. And not only that, when you become one flesh, you guys mirror and imprint each other, right? The divorce rate is astronomical right now. Not saying that it's because they're not doing first water and Crimson Code, okay? But you have the medicine to help your partner heal. How do I learn about this? You can get my book if you would like. Okay, it's only $10. Start there. But you guys, yeah, other fluids. Yeah, look at the link in my bio. I have to be very careful what I say on here because this information is getting taken down when people share about it, right? So first water is so extremely powerful. After 21 days of aging your first water, how did I learn about this? So I learned about this from a doctor in the US who's been doing this for over 25 years. You can follow him. He actually has like a $200 course. I give you most of the information though in my $10 book of what that course is. But he teaches, it's the healing. Oh man, now I went blank. It'll come to me. But yeah, he teaches it. What is it called? The Healing Center of something. So that's how I originally was reintroduced to it. And then Again, I came across some information, some sacred ritual information. There was some Egyptian apocryphas. You guys, there's ancient art of this, right? Of you literally seeing the man partaking of the flower, holding vials of the fluids. Those fluids were the first water in the Crimson Code, as well as other fluids, okay? And so when you realize that anciently that this was a normal practice, we have to go back and ask, why are we not taught this right now? And why are we taught that it's toxic? Right? You have to overcome the shock. I will tell you, it took me about a week. Yes, if you talk to the water with good heart, magic happens. Yeah. So you guys, it took me about a week when I first started implementing first water to overcome the shock factor, right? There was a lot of programming that was going through my mind, like, you're crazy, what are you doing? This is bad, right? The programming's gonna come up. But after you do it for about a week, okay, so for some of you some people in my spiritual mastery course, right, they've been doing it and they're like, it's amazing. So we're talking about your first water and your crimson codes. First water is urotherapy. Crimson codes is for women. It's your monthly cycle. Yes, so people can use, right, this for magic. We know the dark secret Illuminati, right? They use adrenochrome. They do a lot of dark magic. They know the power of these medicines. But you guys, you have the power to use these medicines for good, right? What is so good and pure and innocent has been taken and altered and can be used for dark things. But you guys, when you use it in sacred matrimony for yourself and with your partner, okay, it is so beautiful. And these things are so sacred. And that's why it's so sad that so many people don't know about them. And so many people are taught, right? Like I said, you are taught that it's okay to take a toxic poison into your body. You're totally okay with taking pills, painkillers, that literally on the back of the sheet have, if not more than 100 side effects, possibly life-threatening side effects that you're willing to take. But you're not willing to at least try to take God's medicine, right? Things that have literally been proven, do your own research, to carry your own stem cells. Not somebody else's stem cells, but your own. And that your aged elixir, or your aged first water, carries 1 million stem cells after 21 days. 1 million stem cells. So I just want you to think about that. Take some time and just ponder. Okay, we have been lied to about so many things. We already know that. There's poisons in our food, there's poisons in our water, and there's poisons in our air. Whether you believe in God or source, we were created so perfectly. And I believe that our Creator knew that there was going to be a time in our lifetime that we were going to be bombarded, that they were going to try to take away our human rights, our body. And God said, nope, I'm going to give them medicine that if they just choose to remember will heal them, will heal their original blueprint. So you guys, my book is linked in my bio. So just click my profile picture twice. It's only $10, okay? All the information you need to get started right away, it's only $10, okay? What is the water? So your first water is actually amniotic fluid in the womb. And in the womb, you actually, right, pass that through your body and drink it again. This was information. You guys, first water is information. Animals do this all the time. They pee and they mark their territories. They pee and they smell their pee. That is information. Okay, we do not have the nose sense, we have the taste sense. So unlike animals who smell for information, we taste. So I will tell you that depending on how toxic your environment is, she says, is it salty like the ocean? If you take in any type of table salt or any type of processed foods like fast food, you will notice a bitter first water. Yeah, dogs do this. Animals do this, you guys. In nature, animals know that their urine, their first water, is just information. So you will notice that the flavor will change depending on your sickness, depending on the foods you're taking. So I highly recommend cutting out the processed foods and table salt because it'll be almost unbearable. Okay? But you guys, in my book, it's only $10. I teach you exactly when to take it, how much to take, how often, and depending on the level of sickness or toxins you have in your body, right? Some of you guys might be called to do looping. Okay, some of you guys might be called to do it every day. I can see it being so hydrating. It is amazing. It's like free Gatorade on steroids. Honestly. It is rejuvenating. It's so empowering. And again, you guys, if you are truly wanting to heal yourself, and if you've experienced sexual trauma or physical trauma, these things are so powerful. Yeah, try not to do sugar. So I will tell you a personal experience, okay? So when I was a little girl, I was sexually abused. And because of that sexual abuse and because of the other physical and emotional traumas, my mom left when I was 6. I was thrown around babysitters. I developed some very, very deep limiting beliefs, okay? I developed beliefs that I was ungood enough, that I was unlovable. And because of that, I started to seek external validation for my worth, okay? Anywhere that I could get people to love me or to think I was pretty or to see value in me, any way that I could, right? Because I was broken. I had this huge gaping hole. And so this hole that I had from childhood, it didn't go away. It just got bigger because I didn't learn how to properly heal this trauma. And so I went into my young adult years, right? Learning also by example from my mom, who had kind of a hard life, right? The wrong ways to receive love. And so I allowed men to use my body inappropriately because I was broken and I was seeking love. And so I had horrific things happen to me, right? Things that I would not have allowed done to me if I had known my worth and my value. And so my womb, right, had been traumatized. My womb had been used for other men's pleasure. And because of that, I had my blueprint, my original blueprint was destroyed. It was shattered. You know, maybe some of you guys can resonate with that. Maybe some of you guys have had your innocence violated. And when that happens, right? When we become so violated, it does something to us. And so it has taken me years and years of understanding and recognizing that I have the power to heal that. And then when I came across the Crimson Codes, that my body held the original blueprint to restore what was taken from me. And that not only would my Crimson Codes heal me, but I could give it to my partner. That I could also help my partner heal from his generational traumas, from his false imprints. Yes, you can use this on HRT. You might not need as much HRT as you're using this because, you guys, I'm so glad you brought this up because your first water carries all of your hormones. Like literally. It's incredible. Yay, Joe. So you guys, when a man is born, right, he takes on the generational traumas of those before him, right? When a man becomes one with you, this is for those who are married or have a partner, okay, you become one flesh. You become one flesh, right? And so therefore, you have the Crimson Codes for him, to heal him, to heal and restore his original blueprint. Like, how powerful is that? And people have seen massive healings in their men just from this. Okay? You might have to do a little convincing. Okay? It took me a little convincing for my husband, not necessarily for the first water, but for the Crimson Codes. I mean, he was okay to do the crimson codes. The first water was a little weird for me. He's like, I don't know if I can do my own first water. So if you guys want this information, okay, and you feel called, I highly recommend you getting my book, reading it, letting me know what experiences you've had. If you have been on your deathbed, if you are dealing with chronic things, right? If you are on lots of heavy medications, though, it's good to try to do, I'm not a doctor, so this is a recommendation. I do not diagnose or treat, okay? But I want you to test your body, right? Try just taking a little bit at a time, and you'll recognize that as you start doing this, you're not going to need those medicines because your body's going to be able to heal itself. So how do you use the Crimson Code? So I teach you exactly how in my book. But a lot of people, like I use the Diva Cup. It's the easiest way. But yeah, in my book, I tell you exactly how much to take and how many days to take it. And again, this is very sacred, you guys. This is not something that you're just like, oh, I'm just going to go do this for fun. You might not need to do it, okay? If you haven't experienced any type of horrific traumas, there's no necessary need for it. But I would recommend you storing it, keeping it in a glass vial, so if anything did happen, right, and you were older and you didn't have this gift anymore, this medicine, okay, you would have it and you'd be able to use it for yourself and your children. Now, how powerful is this? When your children leave and they get married, they then become one with their spouse. And then your medicine is not okay for them anymore. They produce their own medicines with their partner, their own sacred original blueprint. Does this make sense? And it is so freaking amazing. And so if you start following people, follow some doctors. What is Global Healing Institute? That's what it was. You just made that up? All right, Jameson Lee. Blocking your butt. I did not make anything up. You guys can find out this information for yourself, okay? One thing that I do teach you in my book is I teach you how to start trusting your intuition. Because you can't just rely on what people tell you. You just can't anymore, right? There's people teaching a lot of things. What happens when you divorce? You still carry your own first medicine. And if you helped your husband heal, then he just got a better end of the deal. Yeah, intuition and emotions are not the same. You guys, I teach you how to tap into your intuition so that you can test, does my body need this? But I'm telling you, if you already felt curious, right, like excited, like, oh, I want to learn what these sacred medicines are, you are being called. Yes, exactly. That's why it says in the Bible, when couples become married, they completely separate from their family. You guys, you become one. If you're not married with someone, you still produce your own body's medicine. So when your children get married and they move on from the home, they are no longer part of your flesh. They are one flesh with their spouse. So I love this. Yes. Yep. So if you've already gone through menopause, that's okay. That's why anciently in ancient traditions, right? In ancient traditions, they would collect, right, your first crimson codes, right? The second that a woman started having her cycle, they would collect those in vials. You would need to collect a lot, right? So that if any type of physical, sexual, or emotional trauma happened, they would have their original blueprint. So my book is located there's a link. So when you click on my profile, make sure you're following me so you don't lose me, because I teach a lot of other really cool things. In fact, at 7 o'clock, I'm going to hop off of this live. We're going to go live and I'm going to teach about intuition. And you can keep it forever. Yes, you can keep it forever. So anciently, right, the Indians, other cultures, they would actually keep a vial of it, especially when they traveled, like on their person. So if there was any unfortunate events, they would have access to their original medicine, okay? You would use this original medicine for your children, right? What happens when you have little children that these horrific things happen to? They don't have the crimson codes, right? Or your sons don't. 1 in 4 women are sexually abused before the age of 18. And they say it's not as many for men, but I believe just not as many of men have shared. Yes. Yeah, your first water, you guys, your first water never goes away. Your first water in itself is extremely powerful. Okay? Just taking your first water, the very first few times you take it, okay, because you're getting over the shock and the fear, you might not recognize the benefits, but after you start doing it, you're going to recognize your energy levels going up. Okay, you're going to put it on your skin and you're going to notice that your skin starts to glow. People are going to be like, what are you using? I had a lady in my spiritual mastery course, right? And she said when she was younger, her friend's mom had the most gorgeous skin. And she's like, how is your skin so beautiful? And she's like, well, I use my urine. And she was like shocked by that. So you guys, these things are not new. What if the person is sick? That's exactly when you need to take it. First water is your first morning release. The original first water is the same, a lot of the same fluids in the amniotic sac are the same fluids that we excrete. And when we're babies in the womb, we actually excrete, right? And we take it in. This is information. Our original first water was information. First water is just information. That's all it is. So when your body gets sick, your body is going to release its own vaccines, its own medication. What if you have chronic kidney stones? Your body is medicine. Yes. So light, love, as spouse can take it from you. I recommend their own first water though. So the only thing you want to give your spouse is your crimson code. Yeah, me too. I'm like, you guys, I'm down to put stuff on my face if it's going to look younger, okay? If they're already collecting ours and putting it in very expensive skincare products, look it up. urea, okay? We're already paying hundreds of dollars to put this crap on our face when your body produces it for free. Then on top of that, if you age it, okay, after 21 days of aged first water, 1 million stem cells of your own stem cells. What if you're not married but in 15-year relationship? Yeah. Ask. Ask your body intuitively if that is okay. If you're doing detoxes, that's great. Okay, it's really good to do this during detoxes, okay? Your body is medicine. Your body is medicine. So this is why it's so important to learn how to intuitive test, okay? Because you can test exactly how much your body needs. If you need to do looping, right? I'm sure it's in the HRT. I'm sure it is. You guys, HRT is hormone replacement therapy. Yes, you drink it. And in my book, I tell you exactly how much to drink, how to do it. Yeah, you guys, our bodies are medicine. What is looping? Looping is when you, every single time you go, you drink. That's usually only for extremely, extremely sick people or like people on their deathbed, right? But this is why you need to be able to intuitively test and ask your body. You guys, in my book, I tell you exactly how to do that. Yes, it's great for acne. If you have acne, right? If you have acne, you guys, women, you can use your first water as well as men. But women, you can also use your crimson code on your face. Stem cells, regenerative properties. You carry your own, okay? Medicine. You're welcome. Athlete's foot. Do you know if you have athlete's foot, all you have to do is collect your first water and soak your feet in it? Kills athlete's foot. Eczema, psoriasis, if you're going balding, okay? How many of you guys were in the 90s like me and you overplucked your eyebrows? The crimson code is for women, okay? It's women's menses, it's their cycle, okay? Women's cycle literally carries sacred codes, original blueprint to heal and restore, especially when it comes to trauma. It is our life force. Fungus toenails, yep. If you have fungus toenails, if you have cracked heels, right? First water is the first water, right? The first water in the womb. It is your first morning release. Okay? So if you guys want to, for the next 10 minutes, you can ask any questions. You guys can get my book. It's only $10. What if you had a hysterectomy? Then you can still use first water. You just won't be able to access your Crimson Code. That is why people traditionally would store it in a vial, right? They would store it so that after they stopped producing their own menses, they would still have access to their original blueprint. You can do first water. You can do first water and other fluids. So the other fluids I won't talk about on here. I will talk about those in my book just because we got to make sure that this information gets out there. It's not only consuming it, it's application too, topically. Yeah. A lot of girls, a lot of women can collect it in a Diva cup, but there's no right or wrong way to collect it. Yes. So if you're on any type of like estrogen or estradiol or hormone replacement therapy, it'll still work. You'll just notice that as you are doing your first water, the doctor might actually lower your HRT because your body actually produces all the hormones it needs through your first water. Fascinating, huh? Yes, you drink it. First water is your first morning release. And you guys, we are taught that that is toxic, and that is not true. Do we have access to other fluids only if we have a partner asking as a single person? No, so as a single person, the sexual fluids that I'm talking about is specifically between you and your partner, right? And it creates a sacred bond, and there's things that you can, it's the man's original blueprint and the female's original blueprint. So anciently, before you go to the bathroom in the morning and you consummated, right, with your partner, you would then collect after the consummation. Okay? You would collect that and use that because that is, again, original blueprint that you would take in for yourself, right? So your husband takes in part of you, you take in a part of your husband. So if you're not in a relationship, you just need your first water, and then if you've experienced any type of trauma, like sexual trauma, physical trauma, emotional trauma, then you produce the original blueprint in your menses. Can we do first water while during? Yes, absolutely. In fact, your first water during your cycle, you'll notice that there's different colors because your body will have more of a higher fat, right? Before, and it's literal perfect medicine during your menses as well. Of course. You guys, I'm over the shock factor. And so none of this bothers me, or when people have reactions, it doesn't bother me because I had reactions too. I can't lie. Okay, I heard about this 15 years ago. I wasn't ready. Okay, I was still very, very deep in the matrix. And then slowly I woke, right? Slowly I remembered my truth. And then that's when I was reintroduced to this. And it was like game over. Yeah. I'm unsure what the topic is. So the topic is we're talking about first water, which is urotherapy, which is your first morning release, okay, as medicine. As something that if you have experienced any type of physical trauma or sickness or disease, your body literally produces its own medicine. Okay? So Amio, I give you all of that information in the book. So how often to take it, how much to take it. Yeah, this is golden information. So, and then you guys, I want you to, yes, and Jam. I want you to ask your body if this is right for you. And if it is, trust that. Okay? It'll take a little while to get over the shock fracture. Yeah, Glam Digital. No, drinking it will not cause hepatitis. Oh, this is a good question. I have had people, what if we go multiple times through the night? So the reason why you collect it first thing in the morning is, yes, you consume it as a medicine. So the reason why you collect it first thing in the morning is because your body, right, is collecting all the information through the day And then that is why the first release is good. So I would say when you wake up in the morning, even if you go multiple times at night, when you actually wake up for the day, that's the one that you want to collect. If there's not enough to collect in the morning, then maybe you can collect throughout the night so that you do have enough in the morning. But I would wait till it's more later in the morning, like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Yeah. So great question. Yeah. So you guys, I have seen incredible healings, right? Seen people, not personally, but their stories of being on their deathbed, starting this, right? And recovering within hours, because again, this is the body's original blueprint. Okay, we have been lied to about what this is. When I say original blueprint, I mean when your mother carried you in her womb, okay, that is the first water. It is the same type of water we excrete every day. Yay, Lindy. Yes, Care Bear. You guys, Care Bear is in my spiritual mastery course. I'm going to pin you, Care Bear. And she woke up with pink eye. And she was introduced to first water as a compress, right? Because she got a little bit of the ick factor too about taking it in. She's like, I don't think I can take it in. I was like, use it as the eye drops. Drop it in your eye. Guess what? Got rid of her pink eye in hours. We produce our own medicine. If you want to learn exactly how, you guys, I have a book. It's only $10, right? It gives you all the information you need to get started right away. It's not a very long book. It's like 40 pages. But it's everything you need. It's all the information you need to get started. Yeah. Because we had class a couple days later and I was like, how's your pink eye? She's like, oh, it's completely gone. I already took a screenshot. Yeah, so you guys, it's actually linked in my bio. So it's a digital download. Okay? You can have access to it right now in your email. You don't have to wait. Oh my goodness, Care Bear. She said her eye was swollen shut. Yeah. Well, she had been doing a lot of clearing, right? So you guys, when I teach you intuitive testing, I have a complete system I teach. I teach you how to get to the root cause of anything in seconds. She was purging a lot, I think, right? And her eyes swelled up shut. You guys, our body produces medicine. Right? Glam Digital. I can't believe I disregarded this years ago when I heard about it. I did too. You guys, 15 years ago, I was introduced to First Water. Not the Crimson Codes or the other sexual fluids, but the Crimson Code. And when I heard it, I was so repulsed. I even went home and told my husband how weird this person was. Right? She's still my friend today. I even told her, I was like, I tell everybody this story. She's like, what? I didn't know I introduced it to you. I was like, yeah. She's from the UK. This was normal. Growing up as a child, this was normal. When you get sick, you have a cold, or you have a flu, you take your First Water. Yeah, our bodies are literally designed to heal them. You guys, we have been lied and we have been taught to silence our truth. Right? They have gaslit and they have programmed our brains to say, you take this toxic pill that might kill you, but don't take your urine because it's toxic. Yet they put our urine in our skincare products and in our medications. Why? If they're toxic, why are they using our First Water in skincare and medications? Okay? But listening to you, I knew this was true. Yeah. So you guys, my book is only $10. It is linked in my bio. Get it now. Okay? Get it while you can. So I'm going to hop off probably in just a couple minutes, and then I'm going to come back on and we're going to talk about intuitive testing. You guys, when you learn how to do intuitive testing, whatever anyone says to you, you can know instantly if they're lying or if they're telling the truth. They tell us it's full of bacteria and we can't. Yep. So you guys, this medicine is so powerful. When you read this book and you see all the ways that you can use your own medicine, you're going to be blown away. Compresses. Okay? Men anciently, when they started losing their eyesight, they would take their woman's crimson and put it in their eyes, and they would literally heal their eyesight. Okay? It is the elixir of youth. Why do you think the wrong side uses adrenochrome. This is real. Why do you think that they use blood in rituals? Because it is life force. It is the healing powers. I've had before with the bacteria and it bothered my digestion. I'm not sure, Fairy 86. I'm not sure. But what I would recommend you doing is I do at least get my free guide and learn how to intuitive test and see what your body says, because your body will tell you. Yeah, it is the fountain of youth. The fountain of youth, and it's in your body right now. And you produce it every day. So if you guys haven't gotten my book, yes, absolutely do it during that. She said, can I do this during a parasite cleanse? Yes. And it's even amazing if you can do a 24 or a 48-hour fast only using your first water. It is extremely, extremely powerful. Okay? It is so extremely powerful. Thanks, Gary. Oh, yeah, the power of the placenta. We won't even go into that. But yeah, right? Why do you think, do you guys know when I was going to take my placenta home from the hospital, and there was a paperwork this thick in order for me to take it home? It was my placenta. They sell our placentas and the umbilical cord for thousands and thousands of dollars. Yet when people go home and take in the placenta, you guys, they did this anciently. We would eat our placentas. I know back then I was like, that's disgusting. Our bodies literally produce medicine. Animals literally show us. Yes, that's why we called it first water. Yeah. So first water and the crimson codes. And then you guys, I don't talk about it on here, but you do produce sexual fluids with your partner. And those fluids, right? Anciently, look at the Egyptian apocryphas. Look at ancient images. Okay, you will see a man with his mouth on the flower. Okay, and his mouth contains different elixirs. These elixirs are 3. The crimson code, the first water, and the sexual fluids. Women, right? Give this to the man. It's a gift. It's an eternal gift. It's when we become one flesh. We take in our husbands, right? After we consummate in the morning, we go, we take that in. You are taking in the original blueprint of your husband, and then your body will produce the medicines that your husband needs. You guys are connected on so many levels, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. So there's a cycle, it's a pattern, right? When you become one flesh, your body recognizes what the man needs, right? Is man good without woman? Nope. He couldn't be. So yes, you should absolutely drink it. I recommend you drink it. Okay? It is the most powerful thing. Want some brown blueprint? Nope, that actually is poo-poo. Toxic. I mean, I think the only animal that eats that is dogs. I don't know, maybe there's medicine in it. If there is, I haven't researched that. Why do you have cancer? Well, if you get my system, you can know exactly when it began and how to clear it from your body. And you can heal from your cancer. 100%. Hey, GJ. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you get my book. It's only $10. It's linked in my bio. You can have access to it right now. Everything you need to know on how to get started. Okay, you will not read this information unless you do some deep diving. Okay, these are sacred rituals. There's a reason why it's hard to find, because people who try to share this information get silenced, or they're called crazy, right? There is a doctor I follow, Global Healing Institute. If you want someone who's done hundreds of thousands of research for the last 25 years, he specifically talks about first water. He does not talk about the crimson codes or the sexual fluids, though you can do your own research on the regenerative medicine that they are doing with our menses right now. Hold on, let me block this bot. Okay. So how many of you guys are so excited about this information? You guys, when you get this information, will you please reach out to me and share with me your results? Share with me what you're using for. Share with me if you have foot fungus, if you have bacteria on your foot. Yes, Sama. I bought it right now. I'm excited. Yeah. I think I'm convinced. Will it help with spinal issues? Yes. Yes. So specifically for you, abruptly awakened, I am getting a yes that if you're still cycling, to do the Crimson Code and then to do compresses on your spine. So you will take your first water and you will create compresses on gauze and let it rest on your spine. Yes. You can wash with it in the shower, but you don't want to wash it off. Okay, that's okay. If you're in menopause, that's okay. So just do the first water. Does it help the Epstein-Barr virus? So that's a good question. It will help with the virus. It'll tell your body what it needs to clear. Okay, it will also help your liver. You might need to do other cleanses, but it will definitely be helpful. Yes, it helps with foot fungus. Literally. So you'll collect your first morning water. You might need to collect it throughout the day too to get enough to soak your foot in it. Soak your foot in it for 20 to 30 minutes. Do not wash your foot off after. You guys, it will not smell, I promise you. So yeah, do it out as a compress and drink it. Yes, flus, it's incredible for the flu because your body is literally, you guys, your body produces its own vaccines, right? When animals smell their own urine, it's information. It's telling their body what needs to be fixed in their body. We obviously don't smell, right? We taste. So we take that in and our body's like, oh, this is what we need to fix. Yes. So I would start your first morning water tomorrow. If you can, do it tomorrow. You guys, there are recommendations. Okay, it's in my book on how much to take. If you can do it for at least 90 days, you'll be a completely different person 90 days. It is hard to drink, especially, it's only hard to drink if you take a lot of table salt and you eat a lot of processed foods. So you will recognize as you eat clean food, drink lots of water, eat fresh, organic, it has no real toxic taste. But if you're taking medications, if you're eating a lot of fast food or sugar, you're taking in a lot of toxins, it's going to be pretty bitter. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It took me 1 week to get over the ick factor, right? I literally had to chug it down. You can dilute it. You can put it in apple juice. You can put it in water. You can put it in your teas, your smoothies. Yes, you can use your daughter's. Yes, your daughter has your original blueprint. As long as she is not married, the second that your children become married, they are no longer your original blueprint. Okay, now they become their own spouse's blueprint, and they heal themselves and their children's selves. Okay? But you can absolutely do that, especially if she's willing to, right? Yes, I recommend this for autoimmune issues. Any type of physical chronic issue, especially you guys, sexual trauma or physical trauma, it will restore your original blueprint. Okay? Your body's fluids contains the original blueprint. We know, right, generationally that they have altered, right? They have tried to alter. It's called transhumanism too. How does getting married change the medicinal properties? So when you become married, you and your spouse become one flesh. Okay? You produce the medicine for your husband. He also produces codes for you. When you become together, you become one flesh. Right? In scripture, they say when you leave your mother and your father, okay, you become one flesh with your spouse. That's what I'm talking about. So they will now produce their own medicines for their line, their children. And then their children will get married and produce their own medicines, okay? So a lot of times our men, unfortunately, they don't have the medicine. They have the first water, but they don't have the crimson code. Okay, God knew what he was doing, you guys, when he created woman. Is God good without woman? No. He gave us something so incredibly powerful that anciently people knew of. They called it the sacred elixir. Okay, they called it the fountain of youth. It was a gift that could only be given to the man who worshipped you, who loved you, who would give you riches and cows and meat. How does divorce remarriage after effect? You'll become one with your new partner. Okay? You'll become one with your new partner. So whatever healing that your husband got from you, he's a lucky man. And then there's some clearing that you might do too energetically. But again, it's okay if that happens. It happens, right? No, it's linked in my bio. It's not on Amazon yet. I will be putting it on Amazon, but it's not on Amazon yet. So it's linked in my bio. It's only $10. What don't you believe, Indica? You don't believe what? Drinking your first water, the crimson codes, that you become one flesh. That's okay if you don't believe it. If you do not believe it, it is not your time. I heard this information 15 years ago and I was like, you're crazy. I wasn't ready. And that's okay. This isn't for everyone. One flesh, once married. That's okay if you don't believe that. How do you clear the blueprint? So your body has its original blueprint, especially female, okay, or male. When there's trauma and you take that in, it just restores, okay, it restores. If you divorce or leave, hold on one second, I gotta block some people because see you guys, when I start teaching this stuff, I get flagged for misinformation. Okay, bye. Yeah. What if I get up a couple times a night? Oh yeah, so we already talked about this. If you don't have enough in the morning, right, then maybe collect it a couple times through the night. But it's best right when you're ready for the day. And you don't need a lot. So you guys, if this information is not for you, please just leave and don't flag me, right? This is what happens when you try to spread truth. People try to say misinformation. Yay, Nora. Hey, Jelena, what's up, queen? So you guys, if you want, this is just located, it's linked in my profile. Okay, it's only $10. Thank you, Steph. Yeah, I don't let it bother me. I just block people. Yes, this is why intimacy is so sacred. Surviving. I see you, queen. You guys, this is why the sacred union is so sacred. If they're not the right one, you do not give them your sacred fluids. Yay, that's awesome. Okay, so Tina, welcome, queen. Okay, what if you were on chemo pills? So if you were on any type of chemotherapy, I would consult your doctor, or I would get my system, Maria, and intuitively test. Okay, I would test if this is okay for my body. I want to say yes, but to be honest, I don't have enough research on that. You could also reach out to, because I'm not a doctor, right? You could also reach out to Dr. Edward at the Global Healing Institute. He actually works with cancer patients and has seen them healed. If you have a UTI, then I would not. Or if you do have a UTI, I would make sure that you really flush out for at least 3 seconds. Flush out for at least 3 seconds, and then make sure it's really clear. Yeah, that's why I'm saying some chemo does have radioactive properties, so I would definitely talk to your doctor or wait until you're done with the chemo treatment and wait a certain period. Again, you can ask your body will tell you. So the book is about first water and the crimson codes. Okay, first water is zero therapy. The crimson codes is your monthly cycle. And then the sexual fluids is what you produce between you and your husband. That is a literal medicine for your marriage, your union. Thank you. All right, you guys, I'm going to jump off. If you haven't yet, you guys can get my book. It's $10. Okay. You can follow me, share it with your friends. You're so welcome, Mary. I will be on tonight in about 45 minutes. So at 8 o'clock, we're going to go over intuitive testing. So if you want to come back on in about 45 minutes, we're going to spend the next hour and a half teaching you the most incredible system in the entire world. This is a system to help you reclaim your truth, not my truth, your truth. So I hope to see you guys there. Okay. Bye, guys.